and welcome to this very special preview show ahead of the hotly anticipated fight this weekend against Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley. We're here at Punch London, and I'm delighted to be joined by Chris Mason and the man that runs the show here, Mr. Don Charles. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Very good, thank you. Now, obviously, we are all boxing fans. How excited are you that in a few days' time, this amazing show is going to unfold for us all?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's been long coming. England in the last 10 years or so has been picking up momentum regarding boxing, and I've never known it like this. And in every weight category, we're representing, the fighters are representing, and this is almost the climax of it. And I'm very excited.
And talk us through the whole setup here, because you've got a really lovely gym here, and obviously some exciting fighters in your stable.
Yeah, most definitely. Again, I've been in the industry as a coach for the last 15 years, and you know, slowly, all the fighters were developing young fighters to help them get to their dream, to achieve their dreams. And I've got quite a few fighters here in all different weight categories. Mostly known for Derek Chisora, whom I'm still training. Also, I train Frank Buglioni, the current British light heavyweight champion. I've got Josh Burnham, Jordan Joseph, Nick Papa, Ian Lewison. I've got all throughout the weights, and I've never also had this privilege to have as many fighters as I have now.
And obviously your son, who we met earlier, who's a big boy, just about to be
he is not lacking in size.
let off the leash.
he's your secret.
He's my secret.
Yeah.
No, he's come of age, and he's my son. I've been training him since the age of 10, and he's grown into a real heavyweight, and he's coming through, learning his craft. He's watched all these guys who I've mentioned, like Derek. He's watched Derek as he was growing up, and naturally I wanted him to be a footballer, and they opted to one day said, "Dad, no, I want to do boxing," because he's grown with it.
At that size, he could probably only be an American footballer anyway.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, he's a nice grounded lad as well. He's got his feet on the ground, and you know, it's so nice to see when you see young prospects like that who still, you know where they come from and what they're all about. But what a great opportunity to grow up around someone like Derek, especially as a fellow heavyweight.
Absolutely. I mean, he's learned so much. He's been a good inspiration for him to see what Derek has gone on to achieve.
And the hard work.
And the hard work it takes, the dedication it takes to get there. So hopefully, yeah.
He's that perfect size now, heavyweight, and he's 6'6", you know, 17 plus stone, but athletic. You know, he doesn't look, you wouldn't look and go, God, he's, 240 pounds.
Absolutely. I mean, that seems to be the trend. I don't know what it is. Something in the water?
Yeah, no, I know.
These boys are getting bigger.
Yeah.
You know, these boys are getting bigger. And yes, that seems to be the trend of the heavyweights. They're all 6'4" plus.
Yeah. But athletic build, rather than the old heavyweights, you look at Larry Holmes and Foreman.
They were beautiful.
Yeah.
Again, it's the times, and everything changes. The food, there's a lot of attention paid towards nutrition these days, and hence why all these modern day, this generation, should I say,
so athletic.
Human beings in general.
Yeah.
They seem to be educating themselves more, even like the scientific side to nutrition and performance and everything.
Absolutely, there's a lot of attention paid towards that now.
Yeah, and recovery and everything else. All
Is your son looking to turn pro soon?
Most definitely, that's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Exciting?
Right now. Oh, very excited. Obviously, as a father.
Will you look to obviously work together, or is that coming in between a father-son? Like, obviously it's been very successful in boxing in the past.
No, because he's grown with me in the sense that he's my son. He's seen it all from the age of 6. I allowed him to start coming to the gyms, and he started to see it, smell the atmosphere,
fear.
Exactly. He's seen it all. So it's only a natural progression, I think. I didn't ask him to become a boxer. No. He opted to, this is what I want to do. Again, he's still to be tested and proven that he can do it. We'll soon see.
Well, obviously, going back to heavyweight division.
And body beautiful.
Yeah. So yes, there's two rather, I wouldn't say body beautiful, but let's go back obviously to the big fight this weekend. Talk us through how you see it unfolding, obviously who you believe will be victorious and raising their hand at the end of the night, and why? From your angle as a coach, as a trainer, what do you think is going to be the determining factor in the end?
It's kind of a hard one to call. I'm normally very sure and very precise in my predictions in the past. This one, I keep going back
Yeah,
and forth.
everyone says that.
Which makes it really interesting.
Yeah.
I think the whole nation, if anybody is, you couldn't really tell me that this is how it's going to be.
You wouldn't put your house on it,
no.
would you? Either way.
No, so it's one of those fights. Some mornings I wake up, I say, that person. Next day I wake up, that person, that boxer. How do I see it? There's a lot of factors.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors. I'll start with Klitschko. Klitschko's advantages are he's very, very experienced. He's had every style he has fought against. He's fought small man, big man, middle man.
Speed, power.
Everything. And this guy has the capacity to employ in his preparation the best of the best money can buy. He's the type of character that fighter that has capacity to accommodate up to 8 sparring partners in one succession.
And we know he could make adjustments. When Manny Stewart came in, he completely changed him as a fighter.
Absolutely.
And he'd sort of developed into his own style of fighter, which was successful up until he walked into Corey Sanders and the other fella. But he has that ability to make adjustments. And I was saying to that earlier, I think that's going to be a key factor, that if in the fight it just gets a little bit awkward for him, Klitschko does have that ability where he can make adjustments, on the fly.
And that's all, I guess that's all down to experience, isn't it? He's been in every situation he can be in a ring, which Joshua hasn't. Well, he hasn't even gone past 7 rounds, so he hasn't had to tread those difficult waters later on in a fight.
Like, that's one of the factors. Like I said, he has the capacity to employ 8 to 10 sparring partners in preparation. So he's going to get the styles, and he's sparred all different styles in the past. That's the advantages for Klitschko. The disadvantages for him is a very apprehensive fighter. Yeah, it doesn't initiate, hates to engage early in the fight. He's got a very good footwork, okay, which is going to stand him in good stead. I don't believe he's going to go and stand in front of Joshua. If he does that, it'll be an early night.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, they've been working on a lot of lateral movement, which he's going to need.
Yeah.
Right. Those are his positives. In the downside for Klitschko, the positives for Joshua. He's got a tremendous ramrod jab, one of the fastest and best 1-2s you've ever seen. Frank Bruno had a good 1-2s. Yeah. Anthony Joshua's 1-2s are better. They're faster. You don't see them coming. Yeah. Very, very sharp. Very precise. Yeah. Anthony Joshua very, very rarely misses punches. He's very fast and very accurate. So when you've weighed up all the advantages, disadvantages that each fighters have, I'm afraid Anthony Joshua's advantages outweighs Klitschko's advantages. Age is a massive factor.
Yeah.
Massive factor. How old is he? 41?
41.
Right.
41 now.
Just.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
but he's pretty good nick for a 41-year-old.
Fortunately for Klitschko, he has kept himself well all throughout his career. Yeah. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, once a jab, Anthony Joshua's jab or a right hand connects, he will age rapidly.
And retreat.
Instantly. That's what happens, unfortunately. Right. So, going by that, that's why I swear towards our homeboy, Anthony Joshua. The younger man, is a very determined young man, I must tell you.
You don't get a body like that if you don't work hard.
He's very determined. And I believe, provided, and I don't think he'll be fazed by the occasion. I don't believe he'll be. No,
he made his debut at the O2 in front of 25,000 people.
He's an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe he'll be fazed by the occasion. He'll thrive on it. He's that type of character. Okay? I think you're going to see him. He'll come out. He'll be a little bit apprehensive initially. A bit of respect to Klitschko.
Yeah.
Right? Once the first round goes through, if it goes past 1. Don't be surprised for an early now, I'm telling you now. I've seen this fight so many times. And I've had the privilege of studying with Vladimir Klitschko because Derek Chisora once upon a time was supposed to fight him.
Yes,
so I've had the privilege of watching hours and hours of footage on Klitschko. So my prediction will be, may I predict?
Please do.
Right, is that it's Anthony Joshua.
By knockout?
Yeah.
This fight, either way, I'm going for Anthony Joshua. Either way, is going to end in a stoppage. Yeah.
Okay, devil's advocate here. Looking through Anthony Joshua's previous opponents, clearly Klitschko is levels above anyone he's ever fought before. We have never seen his chin tested. Klitschko can punch. You know, out of his 68 bouts, 64 wins, a very good knockout ratio. How do you think Joshua, if he does get caught, how do you think the chin will fare?
Well,
we don't know, obviously, but
we don't know. The fact is don't get caught in the first place. Number one. Number two, he's a human being that breathes oxygen. So therefore, if you get clipped, it doesn't matter who you are. I'm afraid you're going down.
Especially with two big heavyweights.
Yeah.
I mean, we did see his chin get checked against Dillian White, who's not a puncher. So, you know, that's a worry. That's the worry for me. But also, Klitschko's whiskers are not the greatest in the world.
Absolutely.
You know, but as Don says, in the heavyweight, they can all punch. You know, some can punch a lot harder than others, and some can hold a shot better than others. But
you made a point. You said that both guys who are of the same stature, the same height.
Yeah.
They're not going to go looking for it. They're there. They're in range. And it's basically also comes down to who strikes first. You've seen the Wild Wild West. Too fast, gunslingers. Whoever pulls and draws first wins. And I believe it'll be the younger man.
And because of the Fury fight, we've seen it. Klitschko just didn't want to let the trigger go. He just didn't. He was just gun shy throughout the whole fight. And if he goes into, as Don says, if he goes into a fight with someone like Joshua, who is just a hungry lion right now,
Do you read a lot from the loss to Tyson Fury? Do you think Joshua should take much from that, or could that have been a fluke or a bad day?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a fluke. I can't say this now without to beat Klitschko, Vladimir Klitschko. So I said earlier on, I've had a privilege of studying hours and hours, and I've sat literally the same distance on the table with Chisora and Klitschko. To beat Vladimir Klitschko, you have to mentally destroy him, which is what the fight with Fury was won at the press conferences. Okay.
Oh, did he mentally broke him down?
Right. Before he entered the ring, Klitschko, he was a beaten man. His morale was very, very low.
Vitaly said that, didn't he? He said he wasn't himself.
It was very, very low, because you have to credit our man Fury, because the great late Muhammad Ali used to use the same tactics. He used to beat you before you got into the ring, verbally.
But I think Fury's tactics in that fight were spot on. He just kept it long, movement.
Most definitely. He's underrated with such a big man to move. The agility to move and to spoil it for not let Klitschko set. He never allowed him to set, to release that power.
I mean, for us purists, it's not probably the prettiest thing to watch in the world, but ultimately he set out his goal was to be the heavyweight, you know.
Absolutely.
In history, and when it says on the belts, it won't say how he won the fight, you know, it just put his name is in history, and that's all he wanted.
Absolutely.
You know, and you've got to give him credit for it.
You have to credit him all day long. You have to credit him. Remember, this man has not been beaten for, 10, 11 years?
11 years.
Right.
And nobody gave him a shot either. Nobody gave Fury a shot. You know,
the other thing is we talked about pressure, and we mentioned this earlier, that this is the first time Klitschko enters a ring as the challenger. No pressure, technically, nothing to lose. Having said that, you've got Anthony Joshua, the whole country behind him, 90,000 fans in his home stadium with the belt. It's different levels of pressure. So I don't know. Again, that's a factor on the night. It's a factor,
of course. Now, when we say no pressure on Klitschko, yes, there is pressure on Klitschko. This could potentially be his last fight because he doesn't want to go out and his legacy will be ruined. If 2 losses back to back,
especially if he got knocked out.
Absolutely, right. So he's here to protect not just his legacy. So there is a pressure on that front.
I think it's a crossroad fight for both of them in certain ways. I mean, it's not all over for Joshua unless he gets banged out early. Unless his chin gets...
The hunger levels for both of them, you've got Klitschko with the 3-time world champion reward at the end, and you've got Joshua, then undisputed, like you said, the avenues of
potentially
so
which way it
exciting
could go.
For both of them. But interesting how the word Klitschko keeps using, because you mentioned mentality of going into this fight. Klitschko keeps using the word obsessed. He's obsessed. That's all he keeps saying is he's obsessed.
He is.
And we both know they're very hungry. Can that obsession push him over the line or actually be detrimental to a game plan on the night?
That obsession could also be disastrous for Klitschko.
Klitschko's obsession.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say
emotionally
it can mess up a game plan.
We can all be obsessed in many things in life. You have to be very careful. Everything in moderation.
It's going to be measured.
Yeah, not to the degree where it could be to his detriment.
Yeah.
Especially boxing, everything's got to be calculated.
Yeah.
You know, it's done your preparation, your weights. You know, not for the heavyweight. Well, it is important for heavyweights, but you know, everything is calculated in boxing. There's nothing, no stone can be left unturned. And if anybody's like that, but they're both similar. You know, you look at Klitschko. It's scientific, isn't it? Their camp, the nutrition, the recovery, you know, all these things that we're seeing coming out now in boxing that fighters are using. They were using a long time ago.
Most definitely, they were far more advanced than.
If it plays out a little bit like a chess match initially, and Joshua doesn't come out guns blazing and kind of just they weigh each other up. If it starts getting 7th, 8th round, Klitschko has smothered all the biggest shots Joshua can throw. Do you believe Joshua will have the physicality, the stamina, the mentality and it's the lack of experience of having gone into latter rounds of a huge fight, which Klitschko clearly has done. Do you think if it gets to that level and gets to that stage in a fight, where do you see it?
Right, that's another factor. Should that fight go into the later rounds, then Klitschko must be doing something right. He must be doing something right. And then it's a question of which, because they're both carrying a lot of muscles. Right? Fatigue. This is a big factor.
Yeah.
Okay? Those muscles are not built for fighting.
No.
Right. It's a question of who's got the best. When I use the word chemist, do not misinterpret it. Who's got the best physician, the best nutritionist. Right. Fatigue. Muscles, fatigue, make you fatigue quicker.
Yeah.
So
it's what Bruno's problem was,
absolutely.
Isn't it?
So therefore, that's a big factor. If the fight goes into the later rounds, they're both muscular guys. So it's a question of which muscle man is going to fatigue quicker than the other muscle man.
Yeah, I think if it goes long, I think it's all about Klitschko. I think he's got so much experience, and I'd worry for.
I was about to say I haven't actually had a prediction from you yet.
I'd worry with Joshua if it goes down that stretch, that 8, that 9. Will he think? Am I behind on points? Should I try and knock him out, or should I just keep it long? You know, and that's a risk as well. You go long with that left hook of Klitschko.
Joshua hasn't really had to think for very long in a fight, has he?
No, he hasn't.
I think it's a total fight of two halves, personally.
That's why I don't see it. It's a fight of two halves. I totally agree with you. If it can pan out that way, where, like I said, if it goes into the later rounds at 8, 9, means Klitschko has been doing something right. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I think Joshua will jump on him, and I believe he should gamble, not recklessly. And I think Robert McCracken would have devised a good game. And Anthony Joshua, let me tell you something, he's a smart kid.
Yeah, he knows his boxing. He's a boxing fan.
Right. So I believe they've studied Klitschko, and they will every game plan. If I were, let's say, for instance, training Joshua for this fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, what would you advise as the game plan?
They say if it's not broken, don't mend it. Okay, don't try and mend it. Be cautious, but take it to the man. Take it to him.
Put it on him, but calculated pressure.
Be aggressive. Don't show respect. Be dirty.
Take it to him. This is what Anthony's been doing for the last previous 18 fights. Okay,
just walking him down and banging him out.
Yes, it's Klitschko. We have to recognize that. Yes, he's got the experience. Make him feel his age. Make him work. You've got the youth.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Take it, make him work, take him out of his comfort zone.
Don't let him hold.
I don't believe he'll be able to hold Joshua. Joshua's too big.
Too strong.
Yeah, so he won't get away with that 1-2 hold.
No.
He won't get away with that, Klitschko, this time. No. I believe if he tries that, it will be even at an earlier night.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. But he gets in that because he'll be in shooting range by then. If he tries to hold, then he will get banged out. I think he's got to keep it long. But I think pretty much everybody's gone for the same sort of thing. It's either an early night for Joshua or a long, tough night for Klitschko. And on my money, it's staying firmly in my pocket. If you forced me to have a pound anywhere, I'd probably have it on Klitschko, maybe 8, 9 or 10.
Oh, so early knockout.
Joshua at any point, but I believe it'll be early.
Well, guys, we're a few days away. I know we're all crazy excited. Don, thank you so much for having us here.
It's a pleasure.
Lovely and great to hear you talk about it. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you soon.